Hello, I'm Katherine from Katherine Learns Stuff, and we are doing another session of Crafting Unscripted today. Today we are doing an earlier session than normal, so it's only 11:15 Eastern. I have some personal things that I need to attend to this afternoon, and I can't make the normal time that we have. So I apologize to anyone that can't watch this live because I had to do it earlier, but hopefully you got my emails yesterday saying that it was going to be early, and hopefully you got my reminder email not long ago saying that it was happening at 11:15 today. So hopefully some people can join us today. And while we are waiting for anyone, if anyone's here, give me a wave, hello, or a hi, and let me know where you're from. And let me know what you've been crafting on recently. I haven't been doing much crafting recently. I'm just trying to sort of wrap up before the summer starts. I've got a bunch of projects that I did over the last few weeks, and I'm just trying to get them all up and ready for the summer because I'm hoping to take some time off this summer. No, I'm not hoping. I will be taking some time off this summer because my kids are off and I want to hang out with my kids. So I haven't really been doing much crafting. I made some more cards and I've already given them almost all away. So all the cards that we made in the last sort of 3 weeks of carding have been pretty much depleted. So I'll need to make some more cards. So I've got that on the go. And hello, Suzanne from Florida. Oh, it must be nice and warm in Florida. We're finally starting to get some warm weather here. It's been like off and on and weird, but the last like 3 days have been hot, and it's going to get even hotter. So hopefully summer's finally starting where I am. So if you didn't read the email that I sent out this week, we are going to be doing a bit of a different turn. We're going to be learning how to use Canva this week, or I don't say learning. We're going to just sort of go through it briefly because there's a lot of things in Canva and I don't use them all, so I can't go through everything, but we'll go through some things. So on that note, let's get this party started. All right, so you're gonna have to bear with me. I've got my camera here, but I've got my like viewing screen to see who's here and if everything's working on the side. So I'm gonna try to look forwards, and the monitor that I'm using for Canva is kind of in front of me, so if my eyes kind of go wonky, I apologize for that. So this is Canva, and I've got my cursor here on highlight, so hopefully you can see it, and we're just at canva.com. Now, if you don't have an account with it, it's gonna ask you to log in, so you're either gonna need to make an account or use an existing account, and I use the free version. So you'll see here it always says upgrade your plan. I don't upgrade things because I can get away with most of the things that I need for free. So what I want to do is, and I'm going to try to go slowly because I know that I can get a little bit carried away and go fast, but I'm going to try to go slowly so that everyone can sort of see what's going on. And if you have any questions, I'm going to try to pause every once in a while and see what kind of what people are struggling with. Now I've got a list of things that someone has asked me to go over, so I'm going to try to do those items, but if there's other things that happen along the way, please just sort of interrupt me with a comment and I will try to make sure that we get a hold of it. Now I've put my face here in the corner. Hopefully that's not going to distract from the actual work that we're doing in Canva, because most of what we need is on this sort of panel here, and then later it's going to be kind of up here on the top of our screens. So hopefully that will all work out. So the first thing that we do when we come into Canva, we're going to have a similar board to this. Now mine's got my recent designs because I'm always using Canva for some simple things. And you're going to have sort of an idea of thumbnails that you can use here. And these are all the different sizes of things you can do. Like if you want to make a video or a whiteboard or a document or a Pinterest pin or a YouTube thumbnail or a print something or a website design. So these are the sort of the most used ones, and this will change depending on what you use and how other people use them. And then we've also got this custom size one. So we can pick one of these ones or this, or we can scroll here to the right and get more ideas. I was able to rearrange so I can be here. Oh, Nancy, that's fantastic. I'm glad that you're able to be here today. So these are sort of the standard sizes, and we have an option for more to see all. But also what we can do is just do here at the side, we've got this create button. This will give us sort of the same options, but in a different layout. So we're just going to click create here to show you. So now you've got sheets, documents, whiteboard, presentations, and it's got all these things. And then you've got sort of some standard ones that you might use up top. Now don't pay attention to these templates that I've got down below because these are things that I was working on previously, and that's why they're popping up. So once you start to use this more frequently, this is going to populate with things that it thinks that you like. Now, we're going to hit the more button just to see the other options. So these are the popular layouts and the common layouts, and then it just gives you an idea of what to use. Now, what I find typically works the best for me, and I'm going to close this off here. I find that most of the projects that I do need to be on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and or they need to be like a picture size. So I typically go into custom sizes here, and I create the custom size that I want. Now, over time, this is going to populate with what you want and what you're using. But if you don't have anything here, and you don't want to use one of the standard ones, I find that even using a document, which is an 8.5 by 11, doesn't always work out to give me the sort of the basic shape of what I want. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to what I need it to be. So this is pixels. The PX is pixels. So if you want to have pixels or inches or millimeters or centimeters, this is the first thing that you want to do, because if you put numbers in here in your width and height and then you change it, then you're going to have to go back and change it again, because it's going to change it to something different. So I'm going to change this to inches, and I'm going to go 8.5 by 11. And then I'm just going to create new design. So here it tells me other options that I could use as a letter or a newsletter or a resume. But sometimes I find that these are already pre-populated with like boxes of things that we can use. I don't like any of them. So I just do blank and I just do create new. All right, so now I've got a new page that's open as an 8.5 by 11. The nice thing about this is that I can print this like on my printer. So if I'm going to be using this to print with, or you know, just make a design and cut it out. And so this is what I'll use. Like even last week or 2 weeks ago when we did the cards, this is what I used. I just used an 8.5 by 11. So now it's time to add our designs. You're going to have always something that's going to be popping up here, sort of giving you ideas of what you've done before. You don't need to pay attention to this right now. So we've got these options for designs, and this is kind of the templates that they've got. And I'm going to show you this here. So you'll see here, there's a little crown. It says Pro. Anything that's got this crown, you've got to pay for that. So if you're not a member of Canva, you don't have a membership, you've got to pay for those items. I like to do everything for free, and that's kind of how we're going to work. So if you want to use an existing design, you can go in here, and these are good for like pamphlets or brochures, or you know, if you're going to do like an image gallery or something like that. And so it'll just show you some different designs here. But if you're looking to make your own design, I'm going to go into elements here. So this is the second box down. Now elements kind of gives you everything. Like it's, you know, boxes and arrows and pictures and icons and clip art and all that stuff. So this is kind of where we're going to go into this elements button. So now in our search menu, we're just going to put in Nancy. I'm going to do St. Patrick's Day for you. So we're just going to put St. Patty's and see what pops up. So now I've got all, I can change it to be just graphics or photos or videos. Now most of the videos are paid, so you've got to worry about that. And I'm not sure how you're going to print a video, but we'll worry about that other later. You've got shapes, and those shapes for St. Patty's Day. So we're just going to go back here to all. And now we've got some things. Now I like to use graphics because they're kind of easy to use. I can import them into Cricut later if I want to, or I can just cut them out with my hand. And we're just going to select the See All button. Okay, now I've got a whole bunch of things, right? I can pick. I'm only going to be using the ones that are free, not the ones that are pro. So I'm not sure how that's St. Patty's Day, but that's okay. We're just going to put this guy onto here, and maybe we'll find a shamrock that's free as well. There was a bunch of shamrocks free a few weeks ago when I was using them. I'll use this one. Okay, so we've got two. I'm just going to put 2 images on here for now, because that's how we get the idea of what they are, right? And I'm just going to show you. Well, maybe we'll put this guy here too, and we'll like stretch him. So if you want to, hold on a sec. So moving items around, you literally just click it and drag it wherever you want. Now with this item here, for example, I want to make this bigger. So I'm going to actually select the corner and drag it out. And it's coming off the side of my sheet, which is okay. But what I can do, if I double click it, now I've actually changed the color of my screen, and my screen is like gray. This means I can actually change the size of what is going to be viewed on my item. So see how I've got 2 boxes now? I've got a box here, and I've got a big box here. So the big box is the actual image itself that we just pulled in, but the little box is what's going to be shown on my paper. So I've made this into a little rectangle now, and I'm maybe just going to move it. Let's just do the bottom part here. So I've moved this around, and now my image is just part of this little piece. So it's kind of like a weird zoom, but it's like a focused zoom in on what we want. So if I want to change this to be the full size again, I can double click and pull it out, and now I've got my full image again. So that's a bit of a weird concept to understand, because I know I've struggled with it in the past before, but this is the same idea with any image or picture or anything that you work with. So that is a cool feature that you have, so that you can change this again. So I'm going to show you this again. I've got this like weird shamrock corner piece. I'm going to double click and it changes my screen to be gray, and I've got this crop option here. You can change it to have like it select the crop options for you, but I like to click and drag my options to make it the way that I want. I'm going to grab this corner and I'm going to pull it up. So now I've got two boxes, and now it's only going to show this part of the box that's sort of lighter than this grayed out part. And I'm going to click my canvas, and now I've just got this piece. Now this is a cool feature that we can do with anything, right? This can be done with like images that they've got. It can also be done with pictures that we have. So I'm going to show you here quickly in the uploads. So I've uploaded a bunch of pictures. Let's not laugh at them, but let's just look at them for a second here. So if you want to upload an image, you can go upload files and pull it in from your desktop or your hard drives or wherever you've got it. But you can also click and drag it. So like if I've got a folder open, which I've got nothing connected to my computer right now, so I can't do it, but I can literally just click and drag it and drop it onto my screen, and it'll pop up here. And then once I've got my images here, I can click and drag it where I want to, and now it's here. And again, I can do the same thing, double click, and I can change what's going to be shown of my image. And I can also make the back part bigger so that I kind of have just like a little piece of this shown. So I've got like kind of like that. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, when we are doing this, I'm going to show you some cool things to do with elements. But before we go ahead, let's select this guy here. Every item that you have, it's a picture or an element, you've got this menu up here where it lets you do things with it, right? So the important one I find is color. Because right now these shamrocks are this color, but what if I don't want my shamrocks to be green? What if I want them to be blue? So I just select the color that I want, and they change to a different color. Or maybe I want them to be red or yellow, right? So I've got the option to change the colors of them. Now I can also change the color here of my background paper. So right now you can see my paper's got like an outline. I can change the color. So right now the color wheel is kind of like multicolor, so it's kind of set to nothing. I'm going to select it again. Now again, I can change my paper. So do I want my paper to be red or purple or pink or whatever color I want, right? So these are options that we can do with this. Now, we've kind of worked a little bit with elements and pictures, and the ideas are good. But what we're going to do next is we're going to do one more thing with elements before we move on to text. I'm going to go, I want an image. Is this the one? Okay. So these frames, so I just typed an image. So oftentimes these will just show up at the beginning if you have nothing selected. These are cool little boxes that you can use. There's squares and rectangles and triangles and a whole bunch of different things. But I'm just going to select, maybe not that one because that's too many. I just want a simple, I just want a simple one. Let's go circle image. Okay, so these are circle images, you've got square images, and so you'll see it's got like this little tree, this grass and sky, and this is basically where you can put your image. But you'll notice that this one's kind of, please do that again. Am I doing the sizing again, Nancy? Or am I doing I'll do the sizing again, and we'll find then. I was able to rearrange, so so we'll go back here and find the images, and then we'll do the color again. So if I'm going to pull in an image, I go to my upload button. And Nancy, if I'm doing the wrong thing, let me know what it is, because I've got a bit of a delay on what I'm talking and what you're seeing. So if I go to upload, this is where I can upload my images, and I can select the upload button, and this will take me to my computer, and then I'll pick out what I want, or I can copy and drag an image over. And then I can either double click the image and it'll pop up on my screen, or I can copy and drag it onto my screen. And I'm going to get rid of them. I don't need 12 of these here. Now when I've got my image, if I double click it, I can stretch it out, or I can stretch it in to have these boxes of what's going to actually be shown on my screen. Now if I click and drag the corner, I'm going to make the whole image bigger, but the viewing box sort of stays small. Changing the colors. All right. So now I'm going to change the color on this element here. So I've selected my element here, these shamrocks, and I'm going to select my color circle here. When I select the color circle, I get this panel of colors. And what it does is it gives me document colors, so things that match on my screen, sort of colors that are my photos, and then these are default colors, and I can just pick any color that I want, and it's going to change the color of the shamrocks. I can also go to this, add a new color, and it'll open my color wheel, and I can sort of pick any color that I want. So if I want it to be this color, or if I want it to be this color. So that's picking this color wheel where it lets me pick the color. And so I can do the same thing with this guy here. So for example, I've got this money bin. That's what's it called. I can't remember the name. And if I select the colors here, you'll notice I've got 4 colors. So I can select this yellow color and change the yellow color to be green, or maybe I want the money to be blue, and then I want the cauldron to be black instead, and maybe what was red on this? I think the red was the lining here, so we're going to change that to gray. So it gives me an option to change these colors. So any item that I select, I can select the item, and it'll tell me what colors it has, and then I can change those colors. If I select this color, I'm going to make this shamrock blue as well. Same thing happens with our paper. If we've got the paper that we've got, we can change the color. The color will show up here. I'm already in the color menu, so it's already up on my screen, and I'm going to change it to blue. Maybe not blue, because everything on my page is blue right now. So I can just select any of these colors, or I can go back to the color wheel, and I can select a color. And we're going to go, this is kind of the different shades of colors, and then this is the more of the finer tuning of the color. And we're going to go like this for now. Okay, so that's the color that we're going to use. So hopefully, Nancy, the color changing makes sense. Next, we're going to go back to our elements, and we're going to pick a circle image. Now this is a cool feature to add when you're putting like people's faces. So I'm going to just pull this one onto my screen, and I don't need 2 of them. So I've got this. I'm going to delete some of the stuff here. Sorry, there's too much on my screen. It's too busy for me. I'm just going to stretch this so it's a bit bigger. Now, this has nothing on it, but if I'm in this, and for example, I go to my uploads and I find a picture of myself, my picture will show up on the screen, but I can actually hover it over the image, and now the image has popped into the circle. So like if you wanted to put a picture of someone in your, like a family picture or whatever, into this, that would be what we could do. And again, if we double click, we can move or extend. Don't have any sound. I can't hear you at all. I don't know what happened. I've got, oh, Nancy, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. You might have to, I haven't changed anything here, so I wonder if it's just my internet connection's slow and it's not cooperating. Can anyone else hear me? So if I double click on it, I can change the image aspect and move it around as well. Now, if I go back to my elements, if anyone else can hear me, could you please let me know? I'm not sure why, Nancy, we have issues with your volume. I always wish it didn't work. I can hear you. Susan, you're hearing me, okay. Nancy, I don't know what's going on. The only thing that I could think is somehow there's an internet issue, but I don't know. I've tried Googling it, and I can't find an answer for it. So hopefully the volume comes back, but I don't know. So with these circles, there's other ones as well that we've got. So this one has like an outline, or this one has a darker border. So you can change them. So if I go to this one here, for example, oops, I don't need 1,000 of these. This one's got a border on it, and you'll see the border here is around the edge. I'm gonna get rid of all this stuff. There's too much. This one's got a border. Now I can change the color of the border to be like pink if I want, or blue if I want. Let's go blue, and then I'm gonna put an image of myself into here as well. And so now I've got me with a border. So that's kind of the idea that we've got with pictures that we can do. So those are cool. We can do squares, or we can do circles. I like this circle one. And also what you can do is you've got this little like arrow thing here. So like if I wanted to be sideways and upside down, I can move myself sideways and upside down. So that's kind of that with there. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add text. So I'm going to get rid of this. Oops. So you just select the text button, and then you have a whole bunch of different options for writing. Now, between the sizes, you've got headings, subheadings, and little body. I typically use a heading, and then I change the size later. So now that I've got my heading here, I just double click, and then I can start to type whatever I want. We're going to say, hello, how are you? And maybe we'll change this to here. Okay, so here's my text. Now, if I don't like this text, I can change the style. I can hear you now. Okay, good, Nancy. I'm glad you can hear me. So we click here to change the text, and our font style is going to open up. And again, we have like a million choices that we have, and there are some that are free and some that are not. So like if I select this one, I can change it. Let's change it to something like that shows this one here. So that, like this. Now there are fonts that are not free, and I don't see them here, but again, if there's a font that's not free, there will be like here. So this guy here, whatever this is, it's not free. So if I click it, it tells me to try the trial, but it's got the little crown, right? And we don't want to use those ones. So you've got 1,000 different choices here, pretty much anything you would like to use. And so these are our texts, but you're kind of, you know, you can make it bigger and smaller by like increasing it or decreasing it here, just by clicking this. And you can change the color again with our color wheel. Whoa, and then you've got some, you know, you can make it bold or underline it or cross through, change the alignment. I don't use the effects, but you can use some effects. So like if we were to use, you know, this outline, it's going to give you an outline on it or kind of a glow. You can also animate it. Not all of the animations are free, so like this one would make it go up and down, but these are more for like website design or for emails, not so much for printing stuff out, right? But you've got sort of those options, and so we're just going to do no animate, and we're going to go back to here. So now, when we have a text or, you know, a phrase that we want, we can find these again. If we want to have like a sentiment, you can put it in here and have like thinking of you, and then it'll pop up with some thinking of you options that you can use free or paid. We'll put this in here, so you've got like this, right? So you've got some options of doing it yourself or with something else. Now, when I do text, for example, the one thing that I like to do, and we're back in elements here, is I like to have it kind of pop out on something. So I'm just going to add a rectangle. And so the rectangle has popped up on my screen. Now you'll notice, since I put the rectangle on, I'm going to say last, it's hiding my text, and that's something that we don't want. So the thing that you need to do is select these 3 dots for more, and then go to this layers option, and you want to send this back. You can send it backwards, that'll put it back 1 layer, or you can send it to back, and that'll put it to the very back of the screen. And so now I've got my rectangle behind my text, and I can drag it whichever way I want, make it a square, and have it kind of move around. Now you'll notice that when I'm moving this, you'll see there was a purple line, right? That purple line indicates that it's centered, that the 2 items are centered, and I can center it actually, like, you'll see now that there's crosshairs, it goes up and down and left to right. That's telling me that it's centered. So when you're trying to arrange things, Canva is really smart, and it's going to start to tell you where the symmetry is in the design. So with this box, it'll show me how far I am from the sides to kind of be symmetric, or if I'm in the center of the screen. So all these sort of lines, when you're clicking and holding it and moving it around, they're going to start to appear, and that's what they're telling you. They're telling you where you are on the screen. So that's kind of the ideas there. Now, Nancy and Susan, hopefully this is telling you some information that you wanted to do. Now, the last thing that I want to go over before we wrap up here in a little bit, and if Nancy or Susan, you've got any more questions about things that you want to see or redo, let me know. But we're going to look at saving this. Now, the first thing that we need to do is we need to select this share button. The centering feature is really convenient, especially like if you're trying to get things perfect. And I'm not too big of a stickler on perfectly straight, but my husband loves it to be like super, super perfect. And so it's an awesome feature because not a lot of programs have that. So we're going to select the share button to save this. Now, once we've selected the share button, you have options. You can send someone a link. You can print it with Canva, which you have to pay for, or you can download this or copy a link to send it to someone, right? So then we're going to select download. Now, when you get to the download button, you're going to have to go through a few options, okay? So first thing you want to do is select the file type. I typically use JPEG, but PNG is also really good. And these will be saved in the file format of the size that you have. So we're using an 8.5 by 11, so it'll be saved on an 8.5 by 11. Same thing if you do a PDF or whatever thing you do here. Now, I'm going to change this to JPEG. I'm going to leave my size quality the way it is, and I'm going to select the download button. Once I hit the download button, it's going to tell me where it wants to save it. So I'm just going to save this in my downloads, and I'm going to save it there. Now, I'm going to just redo this quickly and show you a difference. I'm going to duplicate. So this is to lock the page so you can't make any changes. This is to duplicate the page if you want to copy this page. And this is to add another page that's not the same as this one. I'm just going to duplicate it to show you. So that's my duplicate page, and this is my add a page, and it just adds a page of the same background color. And now I can delete pages if I want to. The important thing that I want to show you now I've got 3 pages, so I'm going to share this again. I'm going to so I can download this onto my desktop. I'm going to leave this at JPEG, and now I'm going to select download. But you'll notice here that I've got an option for pages, right? So I can do all pages, current page, all pages, page 1, 2, 3. So I can select whatever I want. I'm going to select all pages, I'm going to be done, and now I'm going to download this again. But now what's going to happen is that this is going to come down as a zip file, so you'll notice here it's a zipped file, and it's not just a single file. So I'm going to save this, and it's going to go to my computer here. Now, I'm going to go to my downloads. So this is the original file that I downloaded, right here, my downloads file. And if I open it up, that's going to be this beautiful little design that we just did. But we had 3 pages, so I'm going to select this one now, and I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to extract all, because this file is zipped, so I need to unzip it. I'm just going to unzip it where it is. And now it's going to open up, and I've got 3 separate files. I've got the first page, I've got the second page, which is the same, and then I've got the third page, which is different. So now each page is its own separate file. So if I had done 30 pages, I'd have 30 files in here. So it's a neat feature because if you're using this for different things, or if you want to pull this into a different software to like cut it out, like with your Cricut or with your Silhouette, then you've got these abilities to do that stuff. So that's the idea with saving it. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, I'm going to let you digest that information for a second while I have some tea. Now, if you've got any questions on this, let me know, because that's kind of all the notes that I had for setting up this Canva. Now, there's a lot more features in Canva. I don't use most of them. That's kind of most of the stuff that I use. There are other tools here that you can use, like drawing or making specific like lines and adding your own text. You can save your own projects and pull them up here. And then you've got some other apps that you can use. I don't use that. I typically use the elements and the text, and then I just change the colors the way that I want. Once in a while, for example, if you let's say you want to make an invitation. So let's go back to, we're going to go back home. This is my home here. I'm going to close this. And I want to look for a template. So let's go, I want a unicorn birthday invitation. Now it's going to give me a million pre-made invitations. Okay. Now you can do this for anything. You can do this for like invitations, or you can do this for banners. They've got, you think of it, it's here. And so the cool thing about this, we're going to select this one here just because it's the first one and it's free. So now we've got this one. There's no like flag with it or whatever, so we can just customize this template. So now we're using this template, but the cool thing is that we can change it, right? So my kid's name is Nellis and she's not turning 4, but I can change this to, let's say, Julia is turning 6. Let's just say, right? So I can change every single item is its own file. It's its own like little text box. So I can change it, right? I double click and then I can write what I want. And I can double click and change what I want, right? So for each of these lines, and I can even move the elements around if I want to and change it, or if I don't like something, I can just delete it, right? So there's lots of options. So they have a lot of, did you mention where to print? Okay, so all right, so let me just finish this here, Nancy, and I'll tell you where to print. Okay, so we can change these, and they've got sort of a million different options of what to do. So when you want to print, we're gonna go back here to the files that we downloaded. You can't actually print directly from Canva, or at least I've not found a way without having to pay for it. You have to download the file. So we go back, we download the file that we did, and then we open the file that we want. And now once you've opened this file on your computer that's already saved on your computer, then you go to the print button and print it on your computer. And it's going to try to connect to my printer, which it might not. And then you print it. You might need to change it from landscape to portrait because mine likes to always go the wrong way. And then you would print it. So you actually have to print it from your desktop. So you need to save the file to your computer. So we would go share, download. We're going to download this to our desktop. I'm going to save this to my downloads again. And then I'm going to open my downloads here. And this is the one that we just downloaded. I'm going to open this up, and now I'm going to print it. Well, I'm not actually going to print it, but I'm going to hit the print button. And again, I've got to change it from landscape to portrait. And now it's ready to print. And that's sort of the way to print it. So that's how we would print it. Hopefully that answers your question, Nancy. But I don't know how to print it directly from Canva. You need to save the file and then you can print it. Because every time I've tried to, let's get out of here. If I've tried to, oh, too many things are open. If I hit this, like I can print with Canva, which we don't want to do. So again, you can print with Canva, but you can't I've never found an option to select this whole thing and then just print it. So now there might be a way, and possibly if you have Canva Pro, you can print it. I don't know. Because normally there would be a button with the share, or you could select the share button and there would be an option for printing. So I select the other options here of all the other things. There's no print file. There's just the download option, right? So I don't see a way to actually print it from Canva. You need to print it from your computer. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, so that's kind of it for today. Nancy, if I didn't answer all of your questions, drop me a note in the comments below for the video so that I can see how else I can help you out. But hopefully that's given you an idea of how to work this. But the best thing that I can say with this is you got to practice, right? The more you do it, the more the easier it becomes. I use it a little bit. Sometimes I use it more. I go through phases where I use it a lot and then I use it almost none, right? So it's kind of a learning curve when I start using it again. But the more you use it, the easier it gets. So hopefully that answers all of your questions. Hopefully we can, let me know how it worked out for you, okay? And then if you like this sort of tutorial of just trying to figure out how to use programs, let me know. There's a few other design programs that I use. I know not everybody uses Crickets. I don't always use mine either. But if we've got any Cricut questions, or if you've got any other design questions for other programs, I also use Inkscape. So we can talk about that if anyone wants, but let me know if you have any questions, or if you needed to learn anything else using Canva. I can try to see if I can add that in there. So that's all I've got for today. Next week we're going to be back at scheduled time at 12:15 Eastern. Oh, and then just so everyone knows, coming this summer I will be sort of off and on, so weekly Crafting Unscripted won't necessarily happen every week. There will be a few weeks that are missed. Sometimes it might have to happen on a different day. So you're going to have to, I'll try to keep everyone posted beforehand so that you know. But summer's a bit off because I got to hang out with my kids because I like my kids and I want to hang out with them. So that's it for today. If you've got any questions, drop a note in the comments for the video and we will see you guys later. Happy crafting, everyone.